So we finally got the Xbox showcase that we've been waiting for months now, and it did not disappoint. You know, I'll say that right off the bat. Of course, you know, Sony, a lot of people were disappointed with what they have. Nintendo seems a little dry for the rest of the year. So all eyes were on Xbox to see what they would have. Are we finally delivering on the video games that they've been promising for the last couple years? We're going to see a bunch of CGI trailers. What's going on with that? So we're going to dive into most of it today. I'm going to just kind of go over like the highlights of the show, mostly for me, see if my predictions were right for some things that I wanted. If you didn't see that video, you can go check that out. But let's break down this Xbox showcase along with the extended showcase right after this. So starting with the Xbox showcase, they open up with a bang, to say the least. So they start off with Fable. So this is our first time seeing anything from Playground Games' reimagining of Fable since that CGI trailer we got back in 2020, and it was great. I mean, a lot of people didn't like the fact that there was technically no gameplay, like you're not seeing how you actually control and do things in the game, but I think it was a nice little, you know, teaser introduction. Let us see what the art style is going to look like, some of the humor, things like that. So I'm really looking forward to it. Of course, we didn't get an actual release date, but I'm assuming this is probably going to come sometime in 2025. But it was great to see Fable starting off the show. We were thinking we might get like a reimagining or a remaster or, you know, collection for Fable for the first 3 games, which didn't show up. There actually were no collections for this game for this showcase at all. So some people were disappointed in that. I was a little disappointed in that, but again, that was all based on our predictions, so we can't be too disappointed. But Fable, can't wait till it comes out. Next up, we finally got to see what Compulsion Games is working on. So these are the creators of We Happy Few. Some people like that game. I haven't tried it out yet personally, but we got South of Midnight, which looks like it's taking a New Orleans type style, like down south, little I don't call it like witchcraft, but some voodoo type of, you know, jazz and blues and that type of influence. The animation style is pretty interesting. It looks kind of like that, you know, Spider-Verse, like not choppy animation, but just not the animation you see naturally that's like really fluid and things like that. But yeah, we didn't get a lot of information or gameplay on this. It did say, you know, everything we saw from first party was in-game or in-engine, so we can expect the game to look like this. It looks like you will be dealing with different creatures and different mystical beings and things like that. So, you know, I'm kind of interested in this. I'd have to see more, but I'll probably most likely play its first party, so it will be on Game Pass day one. Then we saw the rumored Star Wars game. Some people were thinking it was going to be Xbox first party, but this is actually going to be multi-platform. But, you know, Xbox kind of broke the Ubisoft story and was able to show the game first. But we will see Star Wars Outlaws coming early 2024, and this game looks pretty interesting as well. You know, it's you know, taking a little bit away from stepping away from the usual, you know, Jedi, the Force Unleashed, you know, KOTOR, like all that kind of stuff, and going for more like a bandit, you know, outlaw, like the name suggests, bounty hunter type of style. So, you know, again, I'm pretty interested in this one. I've been playing Jedi Fallen Order. I will probably get to Jedi Survivor at some point soon, but Star Wars Outlaws looks really interesting, and we'll be able to play it early 2024. Next up, we got a game that I thought was Hades or Hades 2, but it's called 33 Immortals from Thunder Lotus, supposed to be coming day one on Game Pass in 2024, where the name kind of suggests you will be playing with up to 33 players in co-op. Running around. It is looks like a roguelike or dungeon crawler type of game where you're fighting a bunch of enemies and things like that. And, you know, the art style, like I said, looks pretty much like Hades or Death's Door, somewhere in that vein. We did see on the showcase extended, you know, Phil Spencer got to sit down and talk to the developers and actually play the game and kind of talk about, you know, where they kind of got the idea and things like that. So it looks, again, I'm saying it a lot, but the show's starting pretty good. This looked pretty interesting, and I'll probably check it out, and you could check it out too, especially if you have Game Pass in 2024. Next up, we got the official announcement and world premiere for Payday 3 coming September 21st of this year, day one in Game Pass. And this is, you know, a lot of people like Payday, the heist type games. you know, some people were waiting to see if we're going to see Contraband here. It was interesting to see that we didn't see it, but Payday, I think, was a big game to have on Game Pass, you know, spreading some more of that variety. It's not necessarily, you know, a live service game, but it is one of those, you know, online co-op that a lot of people are trying to play. It looks like you got a lot of different, more technological abilities in this game, you know, instead of just, you know, running around with guns. You know, there's some more technology or like sci-fi elements to it. So Payday 3, September 21st, day one Game Pass, good pickup for Xbox. Then we got what already leaked, not only leaked, but the trailer leaked a couple days before, but we got the announcement for Persona 3 Reload coming to, well, it'll be multi-platform, but it will be coming early 2024 and day one on Game Pass. So a lot of people speculated this before the leaks actually came out, just because of the relationship we've been seeing with Xbox and Atlas, getting Persona 3 Portable, Persona 4 Golden, and Persona 5 Royal on Game Pass day one last year. So it only makes sense that this, you know, they continue that relationship. So I guess Atlas liked what they saw, or like the money they got from Xbox, and Xbox continuing to you know, expand, try and get more of that Japanese market, and, you know, again, beef up that variety and catalog in Game Pass. So Persona 3 Reload will be able to play that early 2024. Then next up, we got what a lot of people predict as well. We got Avowed. So start off with Fable, you got Avowed in the middle, and some people I've seen were a little disappointed in this. Number one, we didn't get an actual release date. We did see it would be 2024, but the original trailers we've seen was a little more darker and grittier, stuff like that. And some people didn't like that this looked a little more, as they're calling it, cartoony, which, I mean, I don't really get that. I mean, I think there's a lot shown. There's a lot of different abilities, dual wielding, you know, ice magic, portal magic, grabbing people down, freezing them, breaking their bodies up, stuff like that. So I don't know. I mean, I'm definitely going to play it. So I don't know. A lot of people are complaining about a lot of stuff, but you got to realize, like, that's why a lot of people do not like CGI trailers, because CGI trailers aren't normally what the final game's going to look like. So people need to temper their expectations based on that. But again, I'm not going to complain about something I'm going to end up playing anyway. But Avowed, we'll see that next year, and continuing that RPG kind of schedule we're seeing with Xbox, with Starfield this year, Avowed next year, maybe Fable 2025. Then speaking of 2024, we got a game that some people thought would be the holiday game, maybe in December this year, which was Hellblade 2. Again, a lot of people were disappointed in this, because although the trailer did look great, we're not getting actual gameplay. And what gameplay like that people want to see is combat. When it comes to that, like, people want to see, okay, you're showing us this visually look, you know, spectacle, like it looks good, Unreal Engine 5, but we're not seeing any actual gameplay. Like, show me like going through like a puzzle or combat or fighting or a HUD menu or something. But I mean, I'm sure most of that will come out pretty soon. I mean, we've seen it. It's coming out 2024. Again, another 2024 game. I'm thinking Hellblade 2 is a lot further along than Avowed, so we'll probably see this early 2024, and then Avowed either in the middle or near the end of 2024. But Hellblade 2 will be coming next year, day one on Game Pass, and it's looking amazing. Then we saw another Game Pass game coming from Capcom. So again, digging into those Japanese relationships, we got a game called, I'm probably butchering this, but Kunitsugami Path of the Goddess. And when it first was shown, some people were thinking, like, is this Devil May Cry 6? Like, no one could tell what the game actually is, but the art style is definitely diving deep into that, you know, Eastern mythology with some of the creatures. A lot of the combat with the different camera angles looks pretty interesting, and it's good to see Xbox, you know, not just partnering with Atlas, but getting with Capcom, which, you know, I think Devil May Cry 4 and 5 were all on Game Pass and were actually, you know, big marketing campaigns behind them through Xbox. So we're seeing that relationship there. There was no release date either, so we're assuming it's 2025, because if it was 2024, they wouldn't have to give a solid date, but they would have said that. But we'll be able to play it on Game Pass day one. Next up, we finally got to see Forza, which we all knew would be there. Some people were, you know, saying like, okay, when's this going to come out? It leaked it would be coming out October 10th, and then it was confirmed in this trailer that will be coming out October 10th. I personally won't be checking it out. I did like Forza Horizon for a little bit, but I'm not really a racing fan, especially a racing sim. But I mean, the game looks incredible. Of course, it's going to be a big fall game for Xbox leading into 2024. So if you're looking forward to it, you can check it out on October 10th. We got another game that already leaked out along with the Persona 3 Reload. We got Persona 5 Tactica, which is going to be coming out on November 17th. Day one on Game Pass, and this is just what it sounds like. Persona 5 game, tactics. I mean, it's not for me, but it kind of looks like Fire Emblem mixed with Persona, which some people will be interested in. Then right after that, we got a like mid-showcase trailer for Starfield, which, you know, even built the hype even more for the Starfield Direct afterwards. But, you know, we got a little bit more look into the game and things like that, but we'll talk about Starfield later in this video. Then we got to look at a few more games coming to Game Pass later in the year or next year, and one of them that I was really interested in was Dungeons of Hinterberg. So this game, when it first showed, like some people thought like, oh, is this the alleged Hi-Fi Rush DLC or what? It kind of looked like it with that similar cell shaded art style, but we did see it kind of looks like a I can't really describe it. Like there's combat, kind of like Hi-Fi Rush, or like more action, but then there's also like traversal and Zelda-like puzzles and things like that. But we didn't get a solid release date, but the game looks pretty good. I'm definitely going to check it out. We did one in Game Pass next year in 2024, so I'm looking forward to that. Then we got to see Keanu Reeves show up for Cyberpunk Phantom Liberty DLC, which we did get information on. It will be dropping for $30, and you're going to be in a whole nother environment in Night City. Has its own set of rules, things like that, and this is next gen only, so it's good to see. Even with the graphics and stuff, it does look next gen, and I'm almost done with Cyberpunk 2077. I will definitely knock that out before this DLC comes out, but it will drop on September 26th. Then speaking of Atlas, we finally got a look at Metaphor ReFantazio. I think I'm pronouncing that correctly. Should be dropping in 2024. It is from the team that made Persona 3, 4, and 5. It looks like a more fantasy take on Persona, so it definitely looks great. It did look a little choppy in the gameplay and things like that, but it still had that style, especially in the menu, just like everything they put into the style and running through the open world, things like that. It looks really good, so I'm definitely excited to play this. I may get it on Switch. I'm not sure because it didn't say it was going to be in Game Pass. I think this was just a reveal, so I'll probably get it on Nintendo Switch just because that's where I play most of my JRPGs. So, but definitely cool for Xbox to get that slot to premiere that game. So looking forward to it next year. And second to last announcement for the showcase, we got nXile's game that they've been working on called Clockwork Revolution, and this game this is right up my alley. This looks just like BioShock Infinite mixed with, you know, just that steampunk near future kind of game. And it's, I mean, again, we didn't see entirely like what the game would be, but it looks like you're going to be in a world that's going to be ever changing between, you know, the past and the future. The things you do in the past influence the future. You can rewind time for certain objects and how you deal with it. And you can kind of see like how the world changes around you. And people have been waiting to see what nXile's been working on, and we finally got to see it. So there wasn't a solid release date. It did say in due time, which I think was a pun based on the, you know, time mechanics, but I could honestly see this being like a fall game next year, but I feel like they're still trying to slot how their schedule is going to look, so they didn't let us know when it's going to come out. So I could also see this coming out in 2025, but I couldn't be more excited for it. Now, a couple things that was in the Xbox Extended Showcase that you didn't see in the original showcase was we did get a teaser trailer for High on Life, which is supposed to be an expansion on High on Life. It looks more like a horror type of aspect to it. I don't know if it's going to have that same humor or anything to it. We don't know yet. We just got a short trailer, so that's interesting. We did get a teaser, you know, that there would be a number 2 or a sequel to the game. So I don't know if that's still coming or this is the, you know, taking the place of that, but we'll see. It says it's coming, you know, sometime next year, so we'll have to see. Then we also got to look at Hi-Fi Rush is getting 2 new arcade modes. The first one is called BPM Rush Mode, which is the game keeps speeding up as you're playing it. So they're talking to the director, and they did say that I think the original game, the fastest it went up to was like 160 BPM, but this mode, it reaches up to 200. So as you're playing, the game gets faster. It's more of a challenge mode, trying to keep with the beat and things like that. So that was nice to see. And then the second mode was going to be Power Up, Tower Up, which is you start literally with no abilities, no moves, no nothing, and as you're playing, you start unlocking and picking new abilities and keep going up and up. There's going to be new enemies, new abilities using Cinnamon and other characters from the game, unlockables like different outfits. I saw like a black jacket that Chai was wearing, and things like that. 5 new songs as well. This is coming in July, and this kind of leaked because there was some information on some new achievements coming out for Hi-Fi Rush on Steam. So I think it was like 10 new achievements. So, I really liked Hi-Fi Rush, and, I'm willing to dive back in, especially for a couple challenges. So you can look forward to that in July. And then to end the show, we got that like 45-minute look at Starfield. And it was a Starfield Direct, similar to that developer Direct that we saw, where they're talking with different people that worked on the game, Todd Howard, everybody else, designers, costume people, combat people, and everything like that. And it looks amazing, man. I think like this is what's gonna take like the rest of the year for me until that next big Xbox game. We don't really have anything from Nintendo. Yeah, Spider-Man 2 from PlayStation, but once September 6th hits, Starfield is all I'm gonna be playing. They showed not just, oh, you can go to 1,000 different planets. You can check before you go on the planet what's actually there to see if it's worth your time. If you want to just go to excavate and, start little reservations there, or if you just want to collect items, if you want to go for combat. Some of the planets are uninhabited, but that also means, there are bandits and other people and outlaws coming around that, you'll have to fight. There are different factions like the Red Mile that you can do work for or join, and things like that. So much customization, the skill tree to either you want to fight like stealthily, you want to go in just with your fists, you want to go in with the guns. Even the physics in the game, speaking of the guns, you got, when you shoot and there's zero gravity, you'll start actually moving in a direction, from the recoil from the gun. If you're using a regular one, if you're using a laser, there's less of that. There's jetpack upgrades, there's choice and consequence, there's, your interactions with people could change based on the type of life you give yourself. If you grew up as like part of this certain church or religion or whatever, you might meet someone that's also from that, and then that could help you get new jobs. And it's just, they put their foot in this game, man. And I know there's a lot of controversy surrounding it, around like the 30 frames per second and all that, and I'm just here to say that, to be honest, I understand the frustration because Xbox is being advertised as most powerful system and all that, and maybe on paper it is, but I guess when you don't see that in the games, people get a little upset. But my main thing with it is, like, you guys gotta realize, like, some of these games are never locked at 60 frames either. Like, if they lock it at 30 frames and you're getting all this gameplay, all these systems, all this expansive, material and things like that, like, that should be enough. I know it's not enough for some people, but you gotta realize, like, it makes it harder when you do these 60 frames to then, it cuts down on the fluidity of the environment, the way everything interacts, the gameplay elements. There's pop-in, there's all this stuff, the backgrounds don't look at, like, there's a lot to it. Like, it's not just that simple to just make every game 60 frames per second, you know what I'm saying? So for me, it doesn't matter. I'm gonna check it out day one. That's probably the game I'm gonna be playing for the rest of the year. All right, guys, that pretty much does it. That's my recap. I got a lot of things wrong. There was no Killer Instinct, there was no collections for Gears, there was no Banjo-Kazooie, there was nothing. But overall, I'll give this showcase an A. I give it an A. I'm not that mad at the lack of release dates. Just saying 2024 is fine. Like, we're in June 2023. If they said, oh, this game comes out in October 17th, 2024, I wouldn't be any more excited for it than knowing it is, next year. Either way, I gotta wait, you know what I mean? So as long as they're able to put the year on it, we're starting to get, this this schedule. You know, they want to put out a game every quarter, a big game. You know, we got Hi-Fi Rush, Redfall, which sucked, of course, but it still came out. You got Starfield at the end of the summer, and then Forza in October, which is in the fall. So they kind of did it this year as well. So next year we got Avowed and Hellblade, maybe Clockwork Revolution, probably not, but we got a lot to look forward to, so I'm definitely looking forward to it. But y'all let me know what y'all think in the comment section below. Leave a like on this video if you haven't already. Subscribe if you have not. We are on the way to 1,000 subscribers. I appreciate it. I'll catch you on the next video. Peace.